Uncle
Fucker.
Nope.
Almost.
It's fucking South Park. What are we gonna get? What's the worst that could happen?
Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker.
Thank you. Like I didn't. This is why I can't stand Zoom announcing the recording.
Recording in progress.
People's whiny privacy. Don't want to know. It says recording on there on the screen. Isn't that good enough for people? Instead, we gotta. When shit's going down, and I want to secretly record everybody saying terrible things, they got to hear about it.
I bet you anything there's a way to do that. We're just too lazy to figure it out.
I have to do it when
you say that we're saying terrible things. People are going to think we're like a bunch of Donald Sterlings up here now. Like, thanks a lot, Mike. We're just calling people uncle fuckers, really.
This is true. That's the Suns owner now is like the new one.
Ronald, I don't even know.
Sarver, whatever the fuck his name is. Same thing, I guess.
Yeah, not surprising. Oh, wow. A rich white basketball team owner thinks that his employees are actually slaves. Not surprising.
More at 11.
Yeah. Like in other news,
apparently this is the banter.
It is. I don't know why that clip reminded me.
It's sad, but
remember we used to watch all the time. Like, you've both seen Kentucky Fried Movie, right?
No.
What the fuck?
Look who you're.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I feel okay. I only say this because I feel like we would have watched this with like Steve Bacon back in the day a bunch of times.
I didn't.
What? God damn it! All right. Well, either way, go watch it. The movie's it's not even an hour and a half, so okay. I need you to just like watch this. It's from the 70s. It's literally just.
All right.
It's really good. What other? It's similar to like not so much like Kung Pao Enter the Fist, but like
Kung Pao's awesome.
It's like that. It's that same style of comedy, I guess.
All right.
That's a lot of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts.
So there's so many good movies like that like genre. I feel like they don't have those. They don't have those anymore, do they?
No.
And Kung Pao was that like 1999? I feel like that was like back in the day too.
It was like somewhere around like 99, 2000.
It was early 2000s.
Speaking of which.
Speaking of it was in yes, Kung Pao Enter the Fist came out in 2002, which yes, fantastic segue setup over there. We're talking factions of the 2000s today.
There's the wrestling.
Yeah, we got there. Everyone
took a while, but we got there.
Everyone that was panicking. Wait a minute.
Did they forget they hit the record button, even though we just talked about it for like 5 minutes? But
the whole basis of this was yes, because you're singing the South Park, movie soundtrack. Before
Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker.
Great movie, by the way. Holds up all these years later.
It does.
Yes.
Viva la Resistance, boys.
And it's funny because that show was meant to be the series finale.
Wow.
Movie.
If you go back and watch the first few seasons, you'll understand.
No, I get it.
But it's funny to
turn it around and then make it $1 billion show.
Still going strong 23 years later. I forget what year that movie came out. But regardless, which by the way, you said La Resistance, which reminds me of a specific faction that involved a certain French tag team and then Rob Conway.
What? Rob Conway, the French sympathizer.
Yes. Like
the French synthesizer.
This is such a weird place to start with this. So we're talking about factions of, as I said, if you listened last week, we talked about factions of the 80s and 90s. It's a continuation of that topic into the 2000s.
We're going to bring it a little closer to home.
I don't know why and why not start with the best faction of that decade of La Resistance?
Are we doing intros?
I'll get there. Yeah, you're right. I should have done that. I'll talk about La Resistance because technically it's not part of the podcast, but a bunch of French dudes and Rene Dupree, fucking 19 years old at the time. Insane to me.
I did not realize he was that young, by the way.
He was crazy. Like he's still wrestling now and he's like not even 40. And that was so long ago. But anyway, this is the 6-Man Tag Podcast, as I forgot to say, because I suck. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm Mike. Joining me as always, it's CJ.
What is up, everybody? CJ Doyen, aka Craig Francis. Glad to be back with you, talking some wrestling, continuing our conversation from last time, talking some factions through the 2000s, through the 2010 time period, I would say. But before we get to that, I'm going to pass it on along to the next man in line, the man of 1001 intros, Mr. Skylar Strange. Oh, what are you, Sammy Guevara now? I can't read that shit.
Fuck. Oh my god.
Yeah,
this is
a video.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm doing a visual. So yeah, you're not holding it up to the camera.
Fuck you,
good
Sammy.
here.
This is why nobody
Hopefully-
likes you.
Hopefully Mike and CJ are already reading along to this. Subscribe to YouTube, hit like, hit the bell, and other shameless plugging, such as 6Man Tag on Twitter, at 6Man Tag Podcast on Instagram.
Craig.
Linktree is in the bio of all those.
Hey!
Join the Discord. Craig. Bruce. Okay.
This fucking guy.
Oh,
I'm not
you know what?
reading all that.
Fuck you.
Yeah, no, I'm done with your Sammy Guevara bullshit. Go, fuck you in your.
I
hot wife.
hate your Steiner math on that. By the way, for the people that don't want to read the whole thing,
It was just the Steiner math
he
promo?
wrote the entire Steiner math promo on one 8x11 sheet of paper.
Wow.
A burrito is a sleeping bag for ground beef. This is fantastic audio.
This is getting better.
Hey, CJ.
Yeah, what's up, Skylar? Yeah. Hey, yeah. Oh. Not you're in Mount Doom, but now we can't see you because your stupid papers are. I was there. This son of a bitch. And now
A word from our sponsors.
very well done. Now we got to figure out who our sponsors are going to be.
Don't worry about it. They already the people.
Oh, you got one.
The people already heard.
What he said.
Thank you
God
for that.
Damn it.
You know what? I got
bullshit.
My first thought when you put that up was, I'm like, God damn it, how are we going to do this for audio? I guess I got to read along, and then it worked.
Yeah.
I
You've
thought about
always-
everything.
So this is why it took 15 minutes to log in after you said, when's the Zoom? And then I
Yeah.
posted it, and then you didn't
Yeah.
come in.
I should be playing Madden.
Hold on. I'll be right
2022.
back.
No, he's
Oh,
leaving.
got him. Nice inside joke from before we hit record.
There we go.
There.
Okay. All right. We're back.
I just wanted to move over to the the studio.
Howard Finkel background.
Yeah. Smart. You know what's
Not
smart?
the Howard
You
Finkel,
weren't
but
you weren't in the right spot. So I feel you.
Mean Gene. The Mean Gene background is what I meant.
I feel you.
Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. But we're
Does
not
Hulk
talking
Hogan
about that.
call females brother.
Probably everyone's brother. He didn't say sister.
It's a she brother.
Mm.
Let me tell you something, sister.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't carry the same weight.
Doesn't work.
Anyway, continue.
Anyway. Yeah, so we're talking factions of from 2000.
We're talking La Resistance for the
La
next 2
Resistance.
hours.
Strap in.
Deep dive.
Former tag team champ. God, I don't have the fucking time for any of that.
Nope. No,
They
but we
were
are
around for-
talking
they were around for a
factions.
while, though. Renee
Talking
Dupree then went on to
factions.
ECW and then did God knows what because
Also, fun little fact. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Renee Dupree was a young John Cena's first U.S. title defense.
it probably
least pay-per-view.
was. Yeah, it probably was. It wouldn't shock me. They were trying to put him over as a singles guy at one point for sure.
Mhm.
But listen, I mean, not everyone can do the Drew McIntyre, come in super young and then leave and then come back and be, megastar. So
Or at the very
Right.
least, a PCO.
That Drew McIntyre guy's pretty good.
he's all right, right?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
PCO.
Anyway.
I don't know about PCO, man.
I like PCO. Something about it's just like, I mean, right now it's kind of getting a little. Wait, he's in like multiple factions. This should be. For like
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Well,
And he's like 70.
this is also true.
mid late 50s, but yes, which is
It's
technically
70 in wrestling years.
Oh no, that's 90 in wrestling.
He was the
years.
Exactly.
he won the Ring of Honor world title. So that's all you gotta, the guy was a world champ at whatever 90 years old.
I love how
Almost
he's just
got
getting
impaled
older
on
and older.
the bottom of the table too.
Also true.
Yes. But anyway,
Yeah.
let's talk
That's-
about what we
that's
really
today.
talk about. That we teased heavily last week, and this is like the big faction to talk about in this episode. And you know what exactly we're talking about.
The faction everyone's waiting for.
I still can't believe
everyone's favorite.
I still can't believe that Right to Censor was something from the year 2000. It felt like something that was way earlier, and that's a perfect place to start. Because listen, say what you will about the group as a whole, but fucking talent, man, it worked perfectly. This is what I wanted to say last week, and I fucking couldn't. It worked perfectly at the time.
Oh yeah, I hated them so much
because Steven Richards, like, for whatever you want to say about him, the guy could play a good heel. Any role he had to do, he was a good heel, and he was perfect for this. He could play put on a shirt and tie, the pants, the whole nine, and then to recruit everybody, that was bad. I mean, the Good Father, come on.
Yep,
it writes itself.
Val Venus, Ivory.
Was anyone else in there?
Oh fuck.
The Dudley Boys in disguise.
I felt like there was like one more person that I'm forgetting, but maybe not.
Oh, you mean Bull Buchanan?
Yes, there you go, Bull Buchanan. I knew there was one more. Bull Buchanan.
Yeah, he was like the first guy.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He was like Stevie Richards' enforcer, I believe. I think that's how it started. Then they got Goodfather.
Yep.
I believe that it was Ivory and then Val Venus.
Yeah, I think Val Venus was the last one.
Yeah.
It just makes perfect sense. And like the music, you hated it, even though I love it now.
Yeah. And it was funny because anytime I heard that noise when I was a kid, I hated the TV. Like I hated the song. Like it's not even a song, it's just an alarm, which is the point. Yeah, they're trying to get heat, they're trying to get under your skin. So it's perfect. But at the time, like when I was a kid, again, we don't know any better. Like we're literally like, you know, root for the good guys, boo the bad guys kind of attitude. They were like some of the top bad guys to me. I fucking hated them more than I hated them more than some of the top heels in the company, just because of one, that music, and two, because Stevie Richards was, you know, trying to take all the nudity off TV. And I was a preteen boy at the time. Like that was a big deal to me.
We were young, frightened, and horny.
Can I just have a possibility of seeing the tit, please?
And horny.
Like I was hoping just one day, like the censors be a little late on a nip slip, and we, you know, but
sir, can you please? That's what happens
when you're a 12-year-old kid. That's just how you think.
Honestly, you were hoping that pay-per-view you ordered for $40 or $50 or whatever was rated TVMA.
The cat.
You hoped it was a TVMA pay-per-view because
the cat ripping
young and pre-poop. Yes, the cat
ripping her top off really set the bar high of every time you think it's going to happen again. Like you're like sir, censor, sir, please. Can I please see a titty, please?
Was the come on titty,
come on titty, come on titty.
Yeah, it was like I
did that with my mind.
Those guys, those guys were for pretty much everything I was against as a 12, 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, and it worked. Like perfect timing, and they got us every time. Like someone like, oh, the top's coming off.
Yep.
No, not today. Fucking brilliant, man.
It really was.
I know the run wasn't long, but
it was
so memorable. Nobody forgets.
They got like a solid 8 to 10 months out of it, I think.
Almost.
Think about it this way. I know us personally, but also the crowd, what a huge pop Ivory got coming out to that music and coming out to that gimmick.
Yes, very
much.
Like
she got one of the biggest pops of the Rumble like this past year, and everybody hated that gimmick 20 years ago. And that just goes to show you that, like, but we all remember it. And if we can all remember it, we can all love it now, because it's like, that's something that stuck with us.
You know, it's kind of funny. I remember the rumor back in the day was, I think that was going to be Molly Holly at the time, and that's how she was going to
work as well. Well,
it kind of
was Molly even in the company at the time?
Shortly after she joined as Molly Holly,
as Mighty Molly.
Not yet.
We should talk about that faction at some point too.
We'll get there.
She could have. Oh, that's a good one. She could have pulled it off, because like she pulled off whatever character they needed her for, but like it just, I guess it didn't fit as much. You know, you figure the women in it were Ivory and at another point the cat. Go figure.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
The cat was in Right to Censor.
That's what
briefly.
I'm reading here. Yeah,
That was
didn't
like
remember
that was like somebody lost a match and it was a stipulation and
yeah,
all
right.
that.
But
Oh.
still,
But I
technically
think
in
it
the group.
involved Jerry Lawler because of course
And they
it
were
did.
just like, you can't show anyone your boobs anymore. She's like, oh no.
And you gotta dress like it's oh crap.
Like you're
I had that show.
Like a nun or
No. What was that show? What's that show that's on right now?
Little House on the Prairie.
No, not that one. No, right now.
What?
The 6-Man Tag Podcast.
Yes, exactly. Never mind. Moving on.
That's the show we're doing
Do we all
now.
do we all just put on white shirts and black ties next week? Like,
We could just be Right to
I
Censor.
mean, in my
we
line
got to
of,
come up with a Halloween
in my line
costume.
of business, I have those.
I think we have one. Never mind. I think
yeah,
we
but
talked about that already.
card subject to change.
That's true. That's true. Cards always subject to change.
Mm-hmm.
Our Halloween episode, we definitely have to wear a costume, but
We'll figure
Yeah,
it out.
I'll
see.
figure something out.
I mean,
Anyway,
I could just use a
I do
prop.
want to. I kind of
Just-
want to transition to what was probably
This isn't
us-
this isn't relevant to the time period we're talking about.
get it out of here.
No.
Go ahead, Skylar. Don't mind Mike. He's a little loopy today.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm
But,
fine. I'm fine.
while
Over here
we're-
drinking Dream World Coke Zero. I'm fine.
How's that?
Oh, it's not bad, but I get suckered into these mystery flavors every time they come out. I can't help myself. It's fine though. Pick it up.
Anyway,
Not a sponsor.
I guess we should probably talk about if we're in
Please
the year
sponsor us.
in the year 2000. One of the bigger factions that year, McMahon, Helmsley era regime, bungalow.
We briefly touched upon this and then realized, no, save it. Kind
Yeah,
of
because
like
it-
Right to Censor.
It like started at the end of 99.
Yeah.
It was the
The end.
Stephanie McMahon heel turn,
Yes.
right? I'll say.
She turned
At
on
first.
Daddy.
Yeah.
At
She turned on
first.
Daddy in his match against Triple H.
Yep, that was it. It's pretty funny how, like, just again, I know we talked about how if they tried to do that whole drug someone drive by wedding shit
Yeah.
today, it wouldn't fly. And imagine doing all that and then like that girl is like into it months later, like, I'm okay with this.
I thought they
I
said it was staged.
I'm sure they
I don't
had-
It was
remember.
revealed.
I don't remember what their workaround was, but I do
No.
remember as a kid when that did happen, I had like kind of the same thoughts. I was just like, this man just like did all these terrible things to you. Why are you siding with him over your father? And like, again, we're all kids, so we watch it with different
Right.
eyes at that time. But
It's probably this weird thing that the whole thing with Undertaker happened, and it turned out
she was into it. She learned a thing about herself that day. Listen, every girl learns something about herself when she gets tied down for the first time. Any guy
Oh.
too, anybody really, anybody who
Right.
gets tied down, they learn something the first time they get tied down. They're either into it or they're not. And you're going to learn real fast.
right. See,
well, that's it for the podcast. Good
All
night,
right.
everybody.
Tell me I'm wrong.
you're not wrong.
And if
No.
you think if you say I'm wrong, that just means you've never been tied down before.
Moving along.
Oh wait, where's Right to Censor when you need them? Warning. This podcast is getting a little too spicy.
So at first
Settle
it was
down.
basically Triple H, Stephanie, and DX
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which was
And
after Sean
at the
left,
time.
obviously.
At the time,
Yeah.
that was New Age Outlaws, X-Pac,
X-Pac.
and Tori. Just Tori.
I remember Tori.
Yeah, I like Tori. Anyway,
I feel like we said the
That-
same thing last week.
and I believe, didn't it basically, once we got to WrestleMania 2000 that year, which is not a good WrestleMania in my opinion.
Is a good video game though.
Oh yeah.
It's a fantastic video game. You could hear us talk about that in the archives. Go listen to that episode with Sumo.
Mm.
But I remember WrestleMania. We had that 4-way main event. Mick Foley should have gotten a chance to go out on top, but that's just me. That's another story. And then every fucking heel was in there, I feel like, for a minute.
Everyone was what?
Every fucking heel was in that faction for a minute.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Or like somehow associated, or probably were hired
or bought
hired
off
assassins,
by. Yeah. Well, I mean that's
One
very
way or
typical
another.
of like the
or
top heel team.
blackmailed by.
The top heel team does
Maybe.
that a lot. I mean, think about it. Like, how many times have we seen that recently with like MJF and the Pinnacle, hiring the outside guys to take care of shit.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Stuff like that. Didn't he have like dealings with like Men of the Year when they were taking out Darby and Sting and stuff like that? I don't remember. He paid off somebody.
At some point, he weasels his way around. I mean, you could say the same, lesser with like Roman, the whole, Roman Reigns, get your people to do his dirty work and then clean up at the end. So yeah, it's just how wrestling is. Top heel always has his people.
Anywho,
yeah.
I don't know. To me, that almost felt like another in hindsight, kind of feels just like another corporate ministry almost, or a corporation or whatever.
I think it was sort of a little bit of a rehash, but it just had the different angle to it of Stephanie McMahon now involved as a heel.
It was basically, and it was also basically to establish Triple H as like the heel, which in that respect basically did his job.
He was, he was basically a heel, through coming back from that quad injury in 2002.
Yep.
Well, great. Well, basically, yeah, because that you figure that faction starts, and then maybe a year from then, he probably by then tears his quad, less than a year, because he's out for 8 months or whatever it is. So yeah, you figure that because that faction I want to say was towards the end of 2000, maybe like so Armageddon's like ringing a bell when the whole thing happened, and then tear his quad in a couple months later, and then he's out till the Rumble.
Because he won the. When are you talking about?
Triple H being a heel up until he tore his quad.
Right. Okay. And when he came back,
that was based on you saying he established himself as a top heel.
Yeah. Yeah. Although,
which if he doesn't tear his quad, I wonder.
He tore his quad during the actually another semi-famous establishment he was a part of, the 2-man power trip.
Do we count that as a faction? I mean, I remember.
I mean, it was kind of led by Vince in a way. I think something like that.
That is true.
Like he kind of like hold it together. I don't even think that's a word but I used it.
Hold on. Yeah, Steve Austin and Triple H.
It was when they were defending the titles against Chris Jericho and Redacted. And that to this day, I still think that's one of the great top 10 Raw matches.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody remembers
top five. For a while, I thought it was the best Raw match ever.
It was up there, no, for sure. And obviously, tears his quad. Nobody forgets that.
No.
I remember
and he gutted through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he came back, man.
His return kind of. He got a huge pop, but I feel like his return, once they got to him dropping the title to Hogan in the foul year of our Lord, 2002.
What a sentence, by the way.
Drop the title to Hogan
in 2002, because that in fact happened.
Yes.
Yeah. That's pretty nuts. We were talking about all the factions that Hulk Hogan used to face in the last episode during the 80s and 90s, and now here we are talking about Hulk Hogan still.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And he does have another faction to come, but that might be next week's episode.
Yeah.
And it's funny, that this is the first time it's not the first time we're bringing up Hulk Hogan's name, but just the fact that he really wasn't in a faction until NWO. If you want to call it Mega Power or something, but I don't really think that's a faction, but it's just right. But it's funny to bring up. Hulk Hogan was always on his own. His faction was America, brother.
Is that a line he actually used?
If it's not,
I don't.
He should.
I'll take credit for it.
I'm going to say retroactively that yes, he did say that once. I'm trying to think of what other factions. I mean, I feel like Kurt Angle got loosely involved, but that was to kind of get Kurt Angle and Triple H to feud.
Well, speaking of, let's bring up Team Angle.
You suck.
Yep.
I mean, talk about just fucking talent.
Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin. I actually wanted to bring them up anyway because I always loved them even afterwards.
They're
during
fantastic.
The time as the world's greatest tag team.
Yeah, I feel like we're not
great.
Not sure when we'll talk about Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin again. Any words? Anything you want to bring up?
are you trying to hint at something or just talk?
No, that's literally, I'm just copying Conrad Thompson.
I don't get it. I don't
Okay. I thought that's what you were doing.
Thank you.
Why does he shit on Charlie Haas?
Not shit on. It's
no, he
literally
just knows that like whoever he's interviewing is not going to talk about them again.
right. I don't know when we're going to bring up Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin anytime soon. So let's talk about him now. Is what I'm getting at.
Shelton Benjamin should have been a world champion. Yeah, I said it. Okay. I said it.
You're not far off.
I'm not going to disagree.
Around the time he pinned Triple H clean was like, okay, I think this guy could be a player.
If you want to talk about like moments and shit, I feel like everybody remembers when he got super kicked coming off the top rope back in 05. Like,
and he used to do the crazy ladder spots. Like he used to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that was him.
Guys, like we used to see like the stuff we see like Kofi doing at Royal Rumble. Shelton Benjamin was doing that kind of stuff. 10 years before that, but mostly in like ladder matches instead of Royal Rumble spots. He was doing big ladder match spots.
Yep.
So listen, super talented, and honestly, it was a perfect time for Kurt Angle because I think that a lot of that Team Angle run, I think they were just trying to keep Angle held together. So what better spot than to just put him in like 6-man tags and stuff and just like kind of get him through. I mean, I know for sure the pay-per-view before Mania 19. That like it was like a 6-man tag. It was like Team Angle, which by the way, underrated card is No Way Out 02 before Mania. Just like watch them going through the card. It's like unreal. But I think it was Team Angle against Brock Lesnar, Edge, and Redacted. And I think
I remember. Okay, I remember this match.
Like Angle pretty much has a broken neck. I think Edge at that point is pretty banged up, if not like ready to need to go out.
Mm-hmm.
Just a wild time. But Team Angle, man, great. Just they were the world's greatest tag team. That's not like that's kind of not a gimmick.
No, they were really good, and I always thought that they when they started calling themselves the world's greatest tag team, I was like, yeah, it's kind of hard to argue, man. These guys are that good, right. And you put them up.
They would have a good amount of success after WWE too as a tag team.
They did, and I feel like it's weird because like you guys bring up that thing with Conrad Thompson saying how like people won't talk about them, and I wonder why that is. Like, why they're not as remembered as much as some other tag teams that we tend to cling to, like the Dudleys and the Hardys and stuff like that.
I think because, and I know Shelton wasn't world champ, but I think because Shelton had a longer run, and I do think that
he's
tag
still
team
having a run,
right?
And
but
Charlie Haas is,
like I think them as a tag team was a relatively short run compared to just Shelton on his own.
I guess
so. Maybe that's why it gets forgotten. But the Team Angle stuff was just great all around. So.
And they did have multiple championship runs too. So it's not like they never held the titles and that's why we forget them. Like, no, like they
03, by the way, not 02. So we're getting a little ahead. Because No Way Out 03 is like the underrated pay-per-view I was talking about before, not 02. But that was on the SmackDown side, which we know about this whole SmackDown 6, the whole how everything was going. But we have to throw it back to the Raw side to talk about possibly one of the biggest and best factions of the decade we're covering today, and that's Evolution.
Evolution is a mystery. You got to do the Lemmy, man. Lemmy's God, by the way.
Hey CJ, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
What are we going to take over the world?
I think so, Brain. But a wife, family, children, it's just way too much for me. No, we'll talk later. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, I got you. Anyway,
fucking Evolution, yeah. Kind of made 2 careers,
yeah,
and did exactly what it was meant to do,
and revitalized
another. Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. Is like the whole the bringing back Ric Flair thing. I think that was kind of the point of it. I think that's why Trips wanted to do it in the first place.
And I think a lot of people forget that early on, like when Ric Flair returned to WWF or WWE and was wrestling like during those evolutions in those years, Ric Flair still was pretty decent in the ring.
Yeah. No, he was. Ric Flair was still Ric Flair then. He could still do it.
And he's had the most recent active match as of today.
In all honesty, like
no big
Ric
deal.
Flair, you look at those guys like when Ric Flair came back, when Shawn Michaels came back, you can almost make the argument that like they almost had better at least WWE runs. Obviously, Ric Flair had his monster run of the NWA and WCW and everything else. But like you have to kind of admit that like his second WWE run was definitely the better of the two. I mean, yeah, he was a world champion in the first one. He won the Royal Rumble, but he was only around for like a year. And in this one, he had multiple tag team championship reigns. He had big angles with Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Intercontinental title.
Intercontinental title.
Not in Evolution, but yes.
Weird underrated title match. Him and Edge in it was either ladder or TLC match on Raw during Edge's like first short run. Underrated match to go back and watch, by the way. I forget the date.
Run.
Yeah. No, it was his first title run after he cashed in the Money in the Bank for the first time.
Oh, world title. Okay.
Yes, world title. Well, WWE title.
I thought you said Intercontinental.
No, sorry, no. Well, I mean, I feel like we've discussed the the Edge Ric Flair angle with the traffic with the road rage thing. That was prior, but the ladder match, January 2006. I can't remember the date, but underrated match. Go back and watch. Just a suggestion for the folks. But yeah, man, like Ric Flair will. In countless interviews, he had no confidence at the end of WCW. It was like the whole he was wrestling in the t-shirt. He didn't think he could do anything. He only came back to be, the GM or owner, whatever it was at the time, for the brand split. And it was like him, he wrestled Vince McMahon, and then slowly but surely, Triple H kind of brought him back.
Side note, that Vince McMahon match, very good.
I mean, because they probably just beat the shit out of each other for a half hour and called it a day.
Well, they should have signed Reed at the time, but anyway, Anyway, unfortunate things happen.
Yeah.
But also let's talk about the. I mean, what more can we add to Triple H? Triple H, but let's talk about how it basically launched Randy Orton and Batista.
Absolutely. Right. Before that, Batista was doing the Deacon Batista thing with Devon. That was going nowhere. That was never going to do him any favors, obviously.
He had a very brief moment where he was just kind of on his own after the Deacon Batista thing, but that didn't last long, and then he was in Evolution.
Yeah. And Randy Orton was known for being hurt.
Yeah, that's true. Like Randy Orton had the whole the RNN
updates. Those were pretty. Those were pretty.
Yeah, those are great. But when
that's when he found that's when he discovered, hey, I can make it big with the diamond cutter.
Yep. I feel like both Batista and Randy Orton kind of both needed that to get themselves to the point where they got to. So like, I think it is very much responsible for launching their careers, not just like in like almost like a figurative way, but like in a very literal way, because Batista was just another big guy wrestler. He was never gonna get over with that crowd just being a big guy wrestler, the Leviathan gimmick that he did in OVW, stuff like that. Like he needed some legitimacy to him, and Devon wasn't it. So him joining up with Ric Flair and Triple H, obviously that's automatic legitimacy no matter who you are.
Yeah.
Randy had a lot of discipline problems that we all know about and are very well documented. And again, if it wasn't for Triple H kind of taking him under his wing and Ric Flair and them kind of like really explaining to him and getting him kind of more groomed for the business, so to speak, I don't think Randy Orton's career would have lasted as long as it did. So I think Evolution is very much responsible for not only launching but almost saving both of those men's careers.
Who would have been Drax had Evolution not been a thing?
Oh man, that's if Batista never like really became a superstar like that.
Samoa Joe's body and Jeremy Piven's voice.
This is a legitimate question.
I'm gonna say
if Evolution's not
Mickey
a thing,
Rourke.
Batista's not in movies.
I don't know.
If Batista's not in movies, I'm trying to think, because
then he's not in the beginning of Blade Runner 2049, and I'm disappointed.
I almost want to say it should be like Braun Strowman or something, but I mean, I feel like he came a little too late. Like Guardians, like you know what I mean? Like
I'm not even talking wrestler. I'm just in general.
Mason Ryan.
Oh no.
You mean the guy who I thought was Batista when he showed up?
That's why I said it, because that motherfucker looked just like Batista. He looked like Kmart Batista. So
I was sitting there like CM Punk brought back Batista, really?
Not.
I guess. I mean, they trained
There's your
him.
answer. So if
They're
Batista doesn't
friends.
become a superstar, I think Mason Ryan is your Drax.
Oh man, that's depressing. Thank God.
That's an alternate world fucking situation right there.
But that's a stable.
Is.
But that's a stable we might get to in a little bit.
True.
Guardians of the Galaxy. That is a faction.
It is.
Yeah. No, we'll get into that. That was during the 2010 forward era.
Oh
so
yeah,
we'll cover it next
for the next
time.
one for that one. Yeah.
yes, we'll talk about the Guardians, and we might touch upon the Avengers, even though I haven't seen any of the movies.
Oh, I brought it up a little. I brought it up before pre-show.
You say you haven't seen any of the movies?
I'm working my way through the MCU.
I hate you. I didn't even catch that, but I hate you now.
Oh, I caught that.
Anyway,
I'm slow when it comes to movies.
so am I. But god damn it, at least I'm on my Marvel.
Like I feel like at this point the spoilers are like about like they're like 6 cents ish at this point. Like if you spoil it, it's like too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I've avoided it so far, but anyway, continue. And
you
said that.
You don't know what I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but like you don't know what happened.
No, CJ, I will jump through this screen and I will end you.
Sure.
This is the only time CJ has seen a bunch of movies over somebody. So
yeah, that's true.
That's rough.
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah. There's still a bunch of movies I need to watch, but
before we dive too deep into the 2000s, I mentioned it on the pre-show, but
where's the wrestling?
I'm trying to get back to it.
This is all wrestling.
You guys remember LOD 2000?
Oh boy,
Legion of Doom 2000,
and we can say
they,
faction because I
because
believe
they added a third member.
And Sonny was involved at some point.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe
Sonny was involved.
Was she
Sonny
ever with them with Draws?
I think no, I don't know. I don't know. I know obviously Draws was there. And
now we
tried to get Animal to turn on Hawk, and then
Sonny was there. She probably doesn't remember.
They did a lot of weird shit with that. Now, if you don't know Draws, I think you first see him in Beyond the Mat as well. No, well, I guess technically,
I first saw him in a WWE ring, but
but I guess Beyond the Mat was after that. Well, he was a football player
because he was paralyzed.
This is true. He was already was he already paralyzed? Was he already paralyzed when Beyond the Mat came out?
Yeah. He was in the wheelchair and Beyond the Mat. Oh wait, no. I'm thinking of a different documentary. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a different documentary. Beyond the Mat's when he had to do they did the puke thing in Vince's office.
Right, because that was.
Oh my God, he's gonna puke.
Right. But and the whole thing with him was he was I think he was on like the Broncos and he actually he threw up like on the field or whatever. So
yeah, he used to make himself throw up on the other team because he was a lineman.
Right. Oh, that's it. Yeah.
By the way, wasn't LD 2000 during the last decade?
I mean, 2000, right? I guess they probably were in 99, weren't they? Fuck. I don't know.
I think it's sooner than that. I think like 97, 98.
You know what? You're probably right.
Because Sonny was like...
That was a very 90s thing to do, was just label everything 2000 that was going to be new.
I'm pretty sure WrestleMania 2000... Did it come out before the pay-per-view? I want to say that.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, we digress.
Well, we didn't talk about him last week, so I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, LOD 2000 wasn't great. The whole alcoholic thing with Hawk and I remember he pushed him off the Titan, the back of the Titantron or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever the deal with that was. Yeah, it wasn't great. And then,
I do have something I wanted. Okay, sorry.
No, sorry, because I forget because I think like the whole LOD and Draw stuff was done when he got paralyzed. Like I think he was kind of just like it was like on a house show. I know like D'Lo Brown kind of like
it was an
dropped
accident.
him wrong. It was no accident for sure. But I forget. I think like the LOD stuff I think was done at that point.
I just hated that whole angle. With the Hawk stuff. Like I remember like even being a kid at the time, not even knowing about stuff like alcoholism and depression and stuff like that. I just remember it like not feeling comfortable watching it. Like it made me uncomfortable watching Hawk be that like kind of shell of himself character.
Yeah.
And again, as a kid, when you're thinking like everything is real, like you're like, man, this poor guy's falling apart and like nobody's even trying to help him. Like I just remember that was my thought when I was a kid. And so like now I feel like watching it now would probably even be more uncomfortable.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we all know where to go back and watch it. So, but probably one to avoid, but Yeah, no, not great at the time. Like, I just remember it was like, it's weird to think that like LOD at the time, but they were around for so long. By the time they did the LOD 2000 stuff, it was the fact that a gimmick like that needed a reboot is almost like telling. It's almost like, all right, we're sort of
Did it need
kind
a
of sort
reboot,
of
though?
done here.
Like,
I don't know, like maybe like where the Pops
couldn't
is
they
bit-
have just brought the Road Warriors in and just presented them as the Road Warriors, and they probably still would have gotten over as fuck in the late 90s?
No, that
think-
came
but-
later.
No, because I think like they
But
were
that's
there.
my point. Like, wouldn't that
They
have
were
worked
there-
in the 90s too? Like, wouldn't that have worked in 2002? Like,
I think
Probably
because they,
way better.
I think because they were there in like 97, 98 and they were constantly there. So they people didn't look at them as special anymore. So maybe they felt like, but I know looking back, it seems weird. Like, why would the Road Warriors need to be repackaged at all? Like, why, but I think that was a reality of the time where if they were around for a couple of years and people are over it, I don't know.
how could you be over the Road Warriors?
I don't know how, but apparently in 99, maybe people thought they were, or maybe Vince Russo, bro, thought they were.
Vince Russo, bro. I don't know. I love the Road Warriors.
I mean, everyone does.
Everyone
like
loves
we-
the Acclaimed.
Well,
Not the mid
Facts.
2000, not the mid late 2000s version.
well, of Animal, that one was not great.
Animal and Heidenreich.
Heidenreich, yeah. that was-
Jesus
that was-
fucking Christ.
Yeah, you forgot about that, didn't you?
That's what I was referring to for the past 5 minutes.
Michael Cole hasn't forgotten about Heidenreich.
No, he is
Michael
not.
Cole will always remember Heidenreich. Michael Cole definitely got fingered by Heidenreich.
You can deny it all you want
We know.
in that damn closet with the poem that he wrote.
Definitely got fingered. It's not right, Heidenreich. You don't just finger Michael Cole like that. It's not right.
Skylar's out on this one, even though it's true.
We all know
So-
what we saw.
So I have a question. During Triple H's Reign of Terror, that was also during Evolution, right? Or was
It
that
might
before or
have been
after?
both.
Hmm.
Well, what specifically? Because you can call like 2003 was like
that
a big part
that
of
era when he was a world champion. Well, that specific one where he's like a world champion for like a really long time.
it. I mean,
Squashed everyone.
probably 03 because he went through like Scott Steiner and Kevin Nash.
Oh God, that Scott
And,
Steiner match. Those two Scott Steiner matches. Holy
um,
shit.
Yeah.
No, RVD was 02. Who else did he beat? No, because didn't he lose to Redacted at Mania 20, but he was the champ for like all that time before?
So
Like
he was the champ for all that time
he
before.
beat Booker T at one point. He beat
Yeah.
Jericho.
Oh please, he beat Jericho left and right.
Right, but I'm just
It
trying
was
to list
depressing by
his-
the end of it.
Beat
I'm
Jericho like he was a stepchild.
Right. I'm just trying to list his actual like
Pretty sure Jericho's still not happy about that, but whatever.
I mean,
Maybe
it
he is,
I mean,
maybe he
at this
doesn't
point- I
care.
mean, you got to get over it at some point. You're fucking
Why should Jericho care at the end of the day?
No, he
right,
probably
like,
doesn't.
the guy's a fucking.
I'm probably
Ring
just
of-
making shit
The
up.
guy's a Ring of
Don't
Honor
quote-
world
people-
champion right now. So
And people acknowledge Jericho as like being the GOAT. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's
I have.
legitimate. Yeah,
He
there's
stayed
legitimate
relevant.
people
He
who-
stayed relevant through how many fucking decades now? 4
Yeah.
almost.
right, exactly. But yeah, no, the Reign of Terror, and then obviously, we obviously know when it ended, and then obviously the Evolution stuff that keeps kind of carrying over, which was still 04.
and it's a mystery.
Right. Because then how did he? Oh, never mind. Because then the Orton turn, he beats
Orton wins the
Redacted. That's-
title.
he-
Orton
and then
doesn't
Triple-
turn. Orton wins the title, and they turn on him.
That's what I meant. The
Yeah, yeah.
like the Orton
The
face
thumbs
turn. I'll
down.
say. Yeah, yeah.
Batista, nah.
Right.
It was funny.
Which one? I mean, I guess we'll talk about the breakup of Evolution. Which one was done better, like the Orton face turn or the Batista build?
So
Batista build because I feel like the
He-
Randy Orton thing just came
Very sudden.
and went,
Right, and then
even though they did try
then
to
he got
carry
hurt
out that
again.
feud. Yeah, that's
did it feel like at the time they sort of wanted Orton to be the youngest champ because Brock was, and they were like, we gotta get
This
this
one, yeah.
record off of Brock at the time.
I
as
don't
soon-
doubt
when
that
they-
in the slightest.
when they put the title on Orton, that was my thought. Mike, honestly, like at the time, I remember when Orton won the title, I said the only reason they did that was to just get that youngest champion title off of Brock because he left.
Right.
They are a fan of doing that.
Yeah. That being said, I think Randy, obviously, like, I don't think he was ready for that title run. I think he even admits that he wasn't ready for that title run. I think he's even said that. But yeah, like the whole turn just seems so sudden. I mean, like, we all saw it coming because Triple H is a vindictive asshole, and of course he's not going to let somebody else be a champion, and he's not. So it's like we all saw it coming. The Batista build, I felt, was just so much more satisfying. I felt like the Batista build, they really got to take their time with it. They did a lot of the backstage stuff where Batista's like looking at the belt instead of Triple H, where he's, you know, you can kind of see he's getting a little kind of sick of being bossed around. And I think that whole turn was just a lot more satisfying.
Right.
Also, you knew Batista wasn't going to face JBL at WrestleMania. Come on.
Yeah, no. And but that's the thing. Like, of course we all knew it because we're all wrestling fans and we know how wrestling works. So like, of course we all knew he was going to face Triple H, but how satisfying was it when he did?
Oh yeah, it was
Triple H. Like, we all were just stoked because we were like, finally, all right, he's getting out of Evolution. He's going to fight Triple H for the title. This is going to be sick.
Dude, that thumbs down moment was awesome.
It was awesome. And that's my point, because like, yeah, like, of course we all knew he was going to go Triple H because we're all jaded wrestling fans and we know how this shit works. But like, what if he did? What if he did say, like, I'm going to face JBL for the title? Like, he would have been booed out of the fucking building after all that building up.
I mean, it would have been interesting storytelling if they like didn't do the typical WrestleMania turn, though. You know, like, what if they just, like, how much longer could they have kept it going? Like,
I don't know, man, because that would have been weird. Because then what happens? He wins the SmackDown title, jumps over to SmackDown. And then now he's not in Triple H. Now Triple H doesn't have to bother with him anymore. The storyline's dead. So he just never gets to beat his old mentor. He just moves on.
I kind of forgot they were a little more strict with the brand extension in 04, 05, 05.
Yes. By the way, on the subject of Randy Orton, let's not forget later on he would actually go on and form his own faction.
I did want to get to that because it's an interesting one. So
Legacy.
It's a good tree. Yes, Legacy. So it's a great transition. This is 2007 or 8, I think it starts. So we're in the right time frame for this.
2008.
So, okay. So of course Randy Orton. It's an evolution, carbon copy. I mean, they didn't sugarcoat that. So, you know, it was Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase Jr. for a short time, Manu, but
very short time.
Hold on, who was Manu? Was he like one of the like Offen's kids or something?
I thought he was Snooka's kid.
He's somewhere in the, I'm pretty sure he's in Illinois. Or how do you pronounce it?
I know. Well, listen, the whole, I feel like if you're Samoan, you have some connection to somebody. So,
well, it's like there's like the major. I don't want to mispronounce it.
What was his name?
Whose name?
What was his name again? The dude.
Manu.
Manu. Yeah. See, I don't even remember his name. He was there for like such a long, like, little period of time.
Is it Hanoi?
I'm looking it up because I thought he was. No, he's Alpha Junior.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
He was either Deuce or Domino. I can't remember.
What?
He wasn't.
Don't you remember Deuce and Domino?
Yes.
Who was he? Yeah,
was that just two white guys? What are you talking about?
Wait, then who was he before he was Manu?
Not Deuce.
Not Deuce or Domino. He's Alpha Junior. I don't know. He always looked like a Samoan to me. Deuce and Domino were just like two white guys with like cigarette packs rolled up in their sleeve. Couple of greases. Some jets. We're gonna get those dirty shocks. That's a cultural reference right there.
Hold on.
Come on, Skyler. What are you doing?
No, I need to know this now.
Yes, please. Please tell me. Yeah, Deuce and Domino, not Samoan.
You're right. I could have sworn he was like somebody else prior to joining up with them.
I mean, he's probably like Alpha Junior, but
no. Whatever. I'm matching things.
Either way, the forgotten part of Legacy is kind of what it is.
Oh, apparently shortly afterwards he was arrested for armed robbery. Fantastic.
Oh,
He was the getaway driver.
well, there's the still not great.
Yes.
But anyway, so Legacy is essentially a trio, more or less the majority of the time. Yeah, like I said, Orton, Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase Jr., which I guess we can all fully admit everybody thought Ted DiBiase Jr. was going to be the guy at the time. We were all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cody Rhodes is back.
Yeah, go figure. But I mean,
Right.
Legacy.
Cody Rhodes was supposed to be the Jannetty, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it just
originally
didn't work out that way. Go figure, man. What was Legacy's biggest feud? Because like I remember the faction big time, but like I'm having a tough time. Like
I can't really remember.
Oh, Legacy?
Yeah.
DX.
I feel like you have. Fuck
Oh,
me,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
They had at least DiBiase and
It makes sense.
It does make sense.
DiBiase and Orton, no, not Orton. DiBiase and Cody Rhodes had like 3 pay-per-views in a row against Triple H and HBK, and it like went to like a rubber match. I think the rubber match was in the cell.
No shit, dude. I am like
Those were some damn good matches too. If you've never seen them.
By the way, real quick, just to reverse, Skylar was technically kind of right when he brought up Deuce and Domino. Deuce is Jimmy Snuka's son. Yeah, I just looked that up. Dice is Cliff Compton.
Yeah, I knew.
Which I knew. I remember Cliff Compton, but I did not know who Deuce was. But Deuce was Snuka's son. So we were both like on the right track somewhere. I knew Snuka was involved. Skylar brought in the wrong guy. Yep. Yeah. So that was like a weird like 7 ways to Kevin Bacon moment we just had.
Yeah, I had no. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
You're welcome, internet.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's where that came in. So I brought up Snuka and Skylar brought in Deuce. So that's how that all came into effect there. But anyway,
How dare you question my history?
Sorry, DX and Legacy though.
His other, I mean, literally some of his other ring names are Jimmy Snuka Jr.
Yeah.
Sim Snuka, Deuce Snuka. Okay, fair.
Anyway. Those two teams had like 3 matches in a row. I think they main evented at least they did main event at least one of those pay-per-views. Now I have to look this up. Hold on. Yes, Legacy. Let's see. They had a Hell in a Cell. Let's see. There it is. Oh, you know what's hilarious? Triple H. Basically, Triple H was feuding with them. Basically what happened is that year HBK lost to Taker at the first Mania.
Oh,
and he disappeared from TV. While, Triple H was looking for him and found him in the cafeteria. Wait, and then what happened? Circle our conversation back full circle.
And then what happened after that?
And then
this is a good way to bring DX's second incarnation into
and
so
then
we didn't talk about them yet.
And then they had a feud with Legacy. The first match was just a tag team match. DX won Sweet Chin Music. Second match, wait, hold on. Where was it? At Breaking Point, they had a submission counts anywhere match. Nice. That's what it was.
That's an interesting concept.
Because they won, I'm pretty sure they tapped out Shawn Michaels. I think they did the figure 4 on the ring posts, like the Bret Hart one where Bret Hart hangs on the outside doing the figure 4, and like another submission at the same time. It was something like that. And like everyone was shocked that Rhodes and DiBiase won. And then the last match was Hell in a Cell. But all 3 matches, very good matches. Go back and watch them.
I mean, those guys in the ring together. I mean, yeah, it's hard to not be good. Something like that.
Why didn't Ted DiBiase get over him?
Maybe, I don't know. Because of that referee.
He tried to fuck on him.
You tried to fuck on me?
I don't know listen, us as fans, I feel like at one point, maybe, I don't know if he was necessarily like shoved down our throats like certain guys were, but some things just don't work. Like, I think it's as simple as that.
They tried to make him like a face, like an everyman, like he hung out in the parking lot with fans and attendants, all that.
I think it just
kind of came off as generic and boring.
I think that's what it was. I think it worked in Legacy because when you have Randy Orton with you, I feel like
I think the mistake is just make him his dad. Why not?
Exactly. That's my whole thing. Like, and maybe, I don't know if maybe he had some objections to this, but like, why not?
He might have not had the charisma to do it though.
But why not even? They didn't try. Like, why not do the $1 Million Man Jr.? Like, I think there's like
bring $1 Million Man in.
Yeah, right.
But even without doing that, like, why not do why not just do $1 Million Man Jr. when you think about it? Because I think I remember like one promo Ted DiBiase cut where like somebody brought up like, oh, I'll give you, like, I can pay you for this, and he was just like, did you forget who my dad is? I don't need your money. Like, and like that was like the only time he brought up the fact that he's got a lot of money. Why not use that as a gimmick more? Like, why not?
Actually, he brought back the $1 Million Championship for a bit.
Yeah, I know he did, and I know like he had like these little hints of flavor to it, but like I don't think he ever dove into the character the way
I think they started to, and I want to say that changed pretty quickly for whatever reason. I was gonna say when he debuted, but I'm pretty sure when he debuted right into the tag team Legacy, with Cody. Yeah.
Well, the tag team with Cody, which led to Legacy.
Yeah, because it was Cody Rhodes, defending tag team champions, Cody Rhodes and Hardcore Holly. That's right. Versus Ted DiBiase and a mystery partner.
And the mystery partner was Cody.
Guess what? It was me, Holly. It was me all along.
What does that say for the sake of the tag team division at the time? Cody Rhodes and Hardcore Holly are your tag team champions.
Really interesting way to get to Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase as the tag champs.
Like I feel like Cody Rhodes has always been good. Like,
yeah, I always like Cody's work.
It makes sense.
I definitely liked him early on.
Yeah,
like it makes sense looking back,
becoming a fan again.
Right, and it makes sense looking back why Cody Rhodes became clearly more popular. Forget the AEW stuff the last few years, after the release last time, but just in general, just the longevity, I guess. It makes sense looking back at some of this legacy stuff now, why it worked out for him.
Yeah.
And again, you have Randy Orton as your leader in a group, you're going to hide a lot of flaws you might have. So clearly, just one of those things that didn't work out. And
Randy,
and I think,
for all of Randy's flaws early in his career, I gotta say, like, Randy really turned into like probably one of the most professional wrestlers there is. Like, the dude absolutely loves the business. He takes his matches seriously. You can tell, like, there's been times in his career where he's not having as much fun, and there's other times where he's having a lot of fun. And when he's having a lot of fun, he shows it on camera because he's just that kind of guy.
I'm gonna say it again. RK Bro is probably one of my favorite things he's ever done.
And I think, like, he might not be the best at hiding his emotions at times. And I mean, it's funny because, like, you even have funny moments where that happens, like when he dumped Jamie Noble on his head on the announce table, and he kind of was like, like he has a little trouble controlling his emotions at times, which was a bad thing for the beginning of his career, but I think really helped him out later on. But the man's a total professional. And who else, who better to learn from if you're a guy like Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase at that time. You're literally under the wing of a guy who was under the wing of Ric Flair and Triple H.
Yep.
Just a few years ago.
He was basically handpicked by like two of the major figures in the business.
Yeah. And like I said, Randy turned into the guy he is now. And like I said, I think he's one of the most professional wrestlers on the planet.
And Cody Rhodes is basically pretty decorated, let's say.
Yep. And I will say this, like, I think Randy Orton gets a lot of flack. I think a lot of people kind of like to put him in that Cena boat where it was just like, like we just got tired of him. He was shoved down our throats and he's been around forever and he's got the same 5 moves and yada, yada. You hear a lot of the same arguments for like Orton haters are the same arguments you hear from Cena haters. But I love Randy Orton. I think he's perfectly fluid in the ring. I think his work is clean. I think that he cuts one of the best promos in the business. And I think that when he's really into an angle and a gimmick, he gives it 110%. And he's one of the best people in the world at his job.
I think there's only one thing he hasn't recovered from and gotten his revenge for. That time that he hindered the gender.
The gender. You don't hinder the gender. No.
I'm just saying.
The gender.
He lost the title to him and never recovered. Well, he did, but still. But we're not talking about that. Anyway.
I do want to say there's a staple I want to bring up that technically came around at the tail end of this decade that we're talking about.
Well,
do we have anything else more?
Yeah, I was gonna say before we get into that, like we got into Legacy and we got into how they were feuding with Triple H and we got into how that brought Shawn Michaels, but we didn't talk about the reforming of a faction that we talked in the last episode about, D-Generation X 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Which was more of a tag team faction. I will give you, and we're not talking tag teams. We've usually been leaving them out, but I feel like because it's DX, it's a little important.
We have talked about tag teams in this episode
because they still, we've talked about a few, but I'm saying like, but we're trying to stick more to like factions and big, bigger teams and stuff like that. But the reason why I feel like it's important to bring up is because it wasn't just the tag team that did regular tag team stuff. They still did a lot of the old school, granted a little more PG version, but they did a lot of the old school kind of DX little skits. They did a lot of comedy stuff. They had the feud with the Spirit Squad. A lot of cock stuff.
Vince loves cock stuff might have new meaning today. But anyway.
But yeah, they had the feud with the Spirit Squad, which were a bunch of cheerleaders, obviously.
I was gonna bring up the Spirit Squad. We can bring that up after. Right.
Yep. Well, I feel like DX can that's a good segue into Spirit Squad next if that's the direction we're going. So
Well, I did just want to mention that we can't bring up this DX reboot without the tease they gave us 4 years prior to this, which set up the classic SummerSlam 02 match where we thought we were getting a DX reunion on Raw. Swerve brother, pedigree, kick everyone in the dick because we thought we were getting DX. But we got it later, and I think the time was right for it. I think people were obviously into it. People fucking bought the merch like crazy. I remember
I had one of the hoodies, the new ones, with them doing the X Chop and the DX and the green DX. I had one of those hoodies.
Yeah. And all things considered, with like whatever the humor stuff that they used to do, like clearly Shawn wasn't going to be into it, but I think Triple H is still an asshole, so he had no problem going. And
that was the thing, like you could tell, like Shawn Michaels, he didn't mind doing the comedy stuff, but like he's not doing the dirty stuff. No. But you could tell that like Triple H was just like, I could push it a little bit, but like they weren't like how they were in the 90s. Like,
no, of course. But I also think they said in interviews, he's like, yeah, we're in our 40s now with kids. I mean, how much can we? Yeah, how much can we do from 15, 10? I guess wow, I'm dating myself. It was only like 10 years before that.
Yeah.
But they were like, they like let the audience in on the whole joke of like, HBK is not going to do this stuff. Like, I feel like they made enough references to that like on screen, which made it funny in itself. But no, it was great. The Spirit Squad stuff, the McMahons, there was a Hell in a Cell with something. I can't remember who was in that. I think it was them and the Spirit Squad.
That makes sense. I feel like that was like one of their biggest feuds at that time. It was usually them against Vince.
No, that wasn't the match.
What am I thinking of? There was a Hell in a Cell with them.
It started basically the Spirit Squad doing like Vince's dirty work or something like that. The Hell in a Cell match was DX versus Vince, Shane, and Big Show.
Wow. Oh, okay. Big Show was a heel that week.
Yeah. Yes. Precisely.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Might have taken the pin. Don't remember.
It makes sense.
Big Show was a tweener that week. He wasn't sure which side he was on.
Yeah.
Whose side is he on?
I also felt that was such an odd, even when it happened, I thought that was just such an odd choice of a Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, but
it doesn't sound that great to me.
But it's like, but I feel you could put Triple H and Shawn Michaels in with, you know, a broomstick and a blow up doll and a Hell in a Cell, and they'll make it work.
Yeah.
Fair.
I mean,
fair.
Shawn Michaels tried to make a match with God work.
I mean, he did.
Actually, I think that was Vince's idea.
Oh, it was Vince's idea, but
the vignette
HBK
of Vince,
basically had to work a miracle.
Shawn Michaels, the vignette, tag team partner. God,
the vignette of Vince doing with the holy water, the Triple H spit, like, and listen, I'm not gonna talk about fucking religion on this podcast because what it is, but just hilarious, and I'm sure the outrage was, you know, was high.
Oh yeah.
Well, not as much as Katie Vick, but that's for another episode.
Yeah, we're gonna do a deep dive on Katie Vick one day. Like,
hey, phrasing.
Fair. We're gonna do a deep dick dive on Katie Vick one day.
Oh God, dude. Okay, cut to commercial.
I can't believe I just fucking said that while I knew I was being recorded.
Oh my God. So the Spirit Squad was consisted of 5 dudes as cheerleaders.
Kenny Dykstra.
Kenny.
Not that was obviously that wasn't unusual or anything. Just
Mikey.
Somebody that came from.
So Kenny Dykstra.
Johnny.
Is that his real name? Kenny Dykstra, by the way?
I believe so.
Ken Doan.
Because it's Ken Doan, right? Yeah. So Kenny Dykstra, you think he got that name from Lenny Dykstra? You think he stole that?
No, of course not.
It's like Gnarls Barkley.
Do you think he was meant to be the HBK and the rest of the team was meant to be Marty Jannetty?
Yes.
Yes.
Kenny Dykstra was
absolutely.
definitely supposed to be the chosen one.
Yes, exactly. Very
nobody,
much so.
Nobody would have, Dolph's like, who would have thought Dolph Ziggler would still be kicking around in 2022 after the Spirit Squad shit in 2006?
And Dolph
still not doing bad for himself,
right?
No, Nikki.
Squad? No, he was Nikki. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Well, like there were a couple guys. I don't know. Like, hold on. Like Johnny was like Johnny Jeter. I feel like I had heard of him. He was like he was in OVW like Matt Capitelli. They were tag team champions.
It was kind of weird too because they were like,
Mike Mondo was supposedly like really good too. So I honestly think out of the list of those guys, yes, I honestly think out of those 5 guys, I feel like not Dolph Ziggler was like the forgotten one, but I feel like out of all those guys, he would have been like 4th at best on that list of like guys who would have succeeded based on like the prospects that were there. And again, some shit just doesn't work out and some shit does.
I found it odd that it felt like they were the next.
And it's because because when they were tag team champions, they did the whole the Freebird rule where, any 2 of them could be in the match, which is interesting in itself when you have 5 dudes.
Yeah.
So like I always did like that, like, oh, who's it gonna be? Even though like I feel like it was the same. It was always Kenny every time, I feel like. Because like, he always had the spotlight on him. And like, again, I keep saying Dolph Ziggler, even though it's Nikki, but he was just kind of there. And they had a good run though. I mean, clearly people remember him. And then they got shoved into a shipping container by DX and
sent back to OVW.
Exactly.
They were never seen again.
Oh, wait. Well,
and then some blonde guy started showing up, introducing himself to everybody for a while.
Well, you see, then Kerwin White showed up and he needed a caddy. And then so if we want to go back even further to the Dolph Ziggler origin.
Kerwin White and his caddy.
Because his caddy was Dolph Ziggler. I don't know if that was his name.
Remember. No, it wasn't. I don't think he had a name.
It might have just been
Nemeth.
I was gonna say it might have just been Nick Nemeth.
Did he even wrestle when he was the caddy?
Probably no, because I think Kerwin White was there for like a week.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Kerwin White showed up for maybe a month and then it felt like nothing happened, and then Eddie passed, and obviously,
which whose fucking idea was that to take
Vince.
Chavo Guerrero and like, hey,
you didn't even have to
throw
finish
you
that
in a
sentence.
sweater. I mean, yeah, but like, who the fuck in Vince's office heard him say that out loud and go, you know, boss, I think that's a great idea.
Nobody ever says that, but they still do it.
It's so
well,
fucking dumb.
did it?
Chavo Guerrero of all fucking people, and you're gonna just paint him up like this country club fucking saltine cracker motherfucker, and everybody knows that's Chavo Guerrero. He's been Chavo Guerrero for the last 20 fucking years on television. You can't just do that to Chavo
That's
Guerrero.
his name.
It's the only thing I have left. But I don't know. I could not.
Chavo's career was odd.
That's fair. I mean, like, but like, and I mean, granted, like, I know he wasn't the star Eddie was, but like, everybody fucking knows who Chavo Guerrero is.
If you need, so he was Nick Nemeth. He was in a tag team match on Sunday Night Heat against Shelton Benjamin and Matt Stryker. So if you need to know his
that's right, Matt Stryker wrestled
his
for a bit.
technical debut, there you go. Which I had to remember how long ago all this stuff was. All the Kerwin White, Eddie stuff was before
insane.
Spirit Squad.
Yeah.
But
I feel like I remembering that being a draft and that just being a weird draft.
Can I also just say the Spirit Squad tag team title run, some of their title defenses, just because it happens to be in this paragraph, they successfully defended their titles against teams of Jim Duggan and Eugene, Charlie Haas and Viscera, and Snitsky and Val Venus.
Those are some fucking top tier teams.
That's some elite talent right there.
The next sentence in this paragraph says they then entered a lengthy feud with the Highlanders.
Oh my!
I remember the Highlanders.
Oh god.
Yeah,
it was so bad.
Yeah, that was not a good one.
It was so bad. But the Spirit Squad worked for what it had to be at the time. Good faction. They got a one world champion out of the group.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all you can ask for.
So that's a success.
A guy.
Are we missing
anything
anything from this decade that we're forgetting to bring up?
Straight Edge Society.
Oh. Now that's a good one.
Like November 2009.
That's an interesting one. What was Punk? Now, what was Punk? What led to this? Like, what was Punk doing at the time?
This was
that
right after.
Was he the world champ already? And then they he lost it, even though he was beaten down or whatever the deal was.
You mean like by Undertaker?
Or whatever. Like he was supposed to be in a title match, but he got beat up backstage, and Jericho went in his spot. Was that it? Am I getting that right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely after that, but I don't know if it was directly after that. I'm trying to remember, because it was either after that or it was after the Jeff Hardy feud, which amazing feud.
Which
okay, it was right after the. It was right after
the Jericho stuff led to Jericho HBK, I believe. So
another absolutely
fantastic feud.
And then Punk faced Orton like at WrestleMania and got beaten. Anyway, it was right after the Jeff Hardy feud.
What was the start of it? It was him, because I knew like what made him, because I know it was him. I mean, I know it wasn't. What was her name? I know it's Serena Deep, but not
Serena.
It was just Serena. Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay. And then obviously,
you had Serena, and then you had Doc Gallows.
Mm-hmm.
And for a brief period, Joey Mercury.
Okay.
And basically, Doc Gallows was Festus.
Yes.
But they used the Straight Edge Society to explain
which I'll just
how
say
he's not Festus anymore.
Brilliant way to get him out of that gimmick, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, what better way to be like, this guy was like all fucked up on whatever, and now he's good.
But it makes me think. But it makes me think. Who's his tag partner at the time again?
Jesse.
Is he the one feeding him the drugs?
Well, he was feeding him biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy. I was fucking hoping you would bring that up. That fucking theme song. That theme song they had was absolutely outstanding.
I feel like that's gonna get a big. I might get a decent pop from Anthony. If you look,
biscuits and gravy. By the way, Skylar and I are currently working, kind of almost done now.
Biscuits and gravy?
With that song that we were talking about. And it is a wrestling theme song. It might be Biscuits and Gravy. We're not going to tell you what it is, but it is a wrestler's theme song. So just look forward to that. It might be Biscuits and Gravy. Biscuits and Gravy. Yeah, Luke Gallows. And that was when he was Luke, right? That was
Yeah, it was
became
Luke
Doc Gallows
Gallows
in Japan. So
Yeah.
Luke Gallows, Serena Deeb, CM Punk. I know like they shaved Serena Deeb's head.
Yes.
That was like his way of having people prove their loyalty, was having them shave their head. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Because he said that his hair was
Punk did a callback on that, doing commentary on AEW, by the way, in a Serena Deep match. Just
Wasn't
being
this around the same time he was calling himself like wrestling's Jesus or something like that?
It was something like that, yeah.
Well, he was acting like it because he was saying how his hair was kind of like sacred, and he had the feud with. He had some. Oh, I think it was Rey Mysterio. It was like hair versus mask.
Yeah.
Feud. Or that's what it turned. No, they had one match where it was for the mask, another where it was for the hair, and then the blow off match, which was whoever. Whoever lost, they had to do their thing, because that led to Punk wearing a mask for a while.
I do remember that, after he shaved his head.
Yeah. I'm happy you brought this one up, because they had, it wasn't a long run, I don't believe, but it was memorable enough that it's remembered. And like I said, I don't remember like specifics of it. I just remember like what the group was, what they stood for, why they were heels, which is also funny in itself. Of, hey, the whole thought of, hey, I'm straight edge, but I'm a heel, is always funny to me.
I think it's funny because like it's one of those things that like it probably shouldn't work today, but it still very easily could.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's
like
easy.
it's like the Daniel Bryan, like I know you're a dick doing it, but it's like the Daniel Bryan, like environment, vegan and stuff.
Environmental stuff. But like that's why it's so great, because it's just like, all I'm doing is telling you what a good guy I am. It's your fault for hating me. I'm not the bad guy. You know what I mean? Like it's such a good way to get under people's skin.
Right.
Exactly. That it still works.
No, right. Exactly.
For better or worse.
Right.
I like to watch the world burn, so for me it's for the better.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Man, Straight Society is a good one. Are we forgetting anything now? We said before, if like the one thing we said was, okay, well, like, the 80s and 90s, we were able to go into different territories, and we had like WCW stuff. We only have a lot of WWE here, but really only TNA stuff at the time that might be relevant to a lot of people.
There's probably only one person here that could tell us about it. It's not me.
Take it away. Not me either. You had something ready before. Don't give us this look.
Skylar, I think it'd be so much better if you were just like, I don't know, I got nothing. And we just end the episode.
That's true too.
Oh, I got nothing.
All right, we're done.
No, so I guess I'll just briefly touch upon a couple notable ones.
Thank you.
I already did it, Scott.
And I just called it back. Anyway, we got the meme, the main event Mafia, which was they started in 2008. I'm just gonna quickly
go through it, because
but the original incarnation was led by Kurt Angle, and we had Sting.
It's Sting.
And he was actually the second leader, Kevin Nash, with Survivor the Amazon winner Jenna Maraska. I don't know. I have friends that watch that show.
Watched this episode of Survivor since season 1.
It's like over 20 years ago now.
More has to be.
I remember watching season 1. Everybody did.
Booker T with
that
Sharmell.
One dude was just naked all the time.
Yeah, that's the dude who won too.
Yeah.
Booker T with Sharmell, Scott Steiner, Samoa Joe, and Tracy Brooks. All the men in the stable were multiple
it's
world
good to
heavyweight
see
champions of multiple companies.
AJ Styles wasn't in there? I thought AJ Styles was in there.
Later.
Okay. That makes sense.
I think so. I'm trying to see, because there was a few incarnations.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on.
It's good to see Kurt Angle and Booker T make up after that whole gutter slut stuff.
Slut. You think if Booker T and Steve Austin ever ran into each other at a grocery store, they just instantly just have PTSD?
Wait a minute.
When your moon meets your eye like a big pizza pie, that's some more. Smacks him with a frozen pizza.
I gotta rewatch that.
That's a great bit.
Maybe Styles was in there. I can't remember.
I might be thinking of a different faction because I've watched very little TNA stuff. So I just
Fortune? Wasn't that like a feud thing? With
Fortune. Hold on.
It's kind of coming back to me now, even though I watch TNA, but not regularly at this point, I don't think. Maybe I did if they were on Spike TV at this point back in the day.
Spike TV. You know what I miss on Spike TV? MXC.
Okay, yeah. So
you can go back and watch it. It's on like it's on like the Amazon Prime service, like Freevee for free. By the way, I found it.
There's only like 6 episodes, I think, though.
They're still funny with the dubbed over shit.
So, well, technically, Fortune started in the following decade, so we could talk about that next week. But Fortune
next time teaser.
Yes, next time.
Part 3.
Fuck yeah.
So it originally was like Ric Flair basically trying to do 4 horsemen, and that was AJ Styles, James Storm, Kazarian, and Robert Roode. There's more to it. They get involved with Immortal. Talk about it another time.
Is Claire Lynch in this?
Stop calling him Robert.
He was called Robert. There was a lot of times when he was Robert Roode as well.
He's Bobby Roode.
Like, I know.
Listen, man.
The Robert thing, like I know he was doing that like towards the end, like his most recent run with Dolph Ziggler, I think, right? He was Robert during that time, but like it always felt weird to me. I was just like, no, you're Bobby.
I know. Well, he was Bobby Roode as NXT champion, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the one that he beat not Shinsuke?
Drew McIntyre, maybe?
No, Shinsuke, because Drew McIntyre beat him for it. That was the night that Adam Cole debuted. That's
right. Drew McIntyre got hurt in that match too, I thought.
No, he got hurt like
maybe the next one.
The next takeover, he dropped the belt to Andrade.
Fair. Well, maybe we'll see him back.
Because
we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Yes. There was another group I wanted to talk about, but hold on.
Hey, if you don't got it, you don't got it. Clearly, people are probably being like, TNA, what the fuck?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Because like during like I feel like TNA's prime was like 04 to like maybe 06, 07-ish. And I can't remember a faction that was memorable from that time, because that's when I did watch regularly. I watched from like the end of that weekly pay-per-view era, because there may or may not have been a certain cable box in the house that allowed me to watch pay-per-views every week for free. And through the beginning of that, like, whatever Impact, whatever the fuck channel they were on. But I can't remember a faction that stood out. I feel like this era was like the first time they had factions with like the Main Event Mafia and stuff.
I'll touch upon a few that were here very briefly. Raven had Serotonin, which very few people remember.
I kind of remember.
Kazarian, Matt Bentley, and Giant Divine.
Oh, can we? Oh my God, I need to rant about that fucking guy for a sec.
Who?
Matt Bentley. He's like a cousin of Shawn Michaels, so TNA was like, yes, please. And yeah, him and Kazarian were a tag team, and he used to be called Michael Shane, and then maybe they made him change it. I can't remember why. Maybe it was too close to Shawn Michaels, even though it's not, I guess, the first name, but just fucking weird, man. I don't know why. It just fucking brought up. Just so fucking stupid. but Kazarian's awesome. Still kicking around today.
Oh man, three live crew.
I do remember that, but
just Road Dogg, R-Truth, and Conan.
And then Billy Gunn came along as whatever the fuck his name was, and then stupid.
Voodoo
I'm
Kid,
just-
Voodoo King Mafia.
Voodoo Kid
yeah,
Mafia.
I didn't even want to say it because it's that fucking stupid.
And
But-
then after that, they were the Kip Gang, right? Like they had like
God damn,
20 different names in that fucking company.
fucking stupid. Thank God he can just be like Billy Gunn today, or Daddy
Yeah.
Ass. Sorry.
So this is all, by the way, these are all apparently forgotten factions. We have the Beatdown Clan, which was Samoa
basically
Joe,
it was basically the Hurt
Lashley.
Business.
It was Samoa Joe, Lashley, Kenny King, Low-Key, and Homicide were all in there at some. Oh, never mind. Wrong.
It wasn't
decade.
MVP wasn't in that for a little, because I feel like literally like the
I'm
Hurt
pretty sure
Business,
MVP's in there.
the Hurt Business was literally like what they did in TNA with like all those guys. Well, MVP and Lashley, I thought, but again, beside the point. Man, fucking, I don't know, man. TNA is weird. Do we miss anything from WWE from this decade that we're missing?
I mean, unless you want to talk about the
Anything
invasion.
Maybe we should brief. It's been done to death. It's been done to death. It sucked. We get it.
It sucked.
They made, fuck. We need a star. Move Austin. Turn him heel and make him the WCW guy now. It just didn't work. The whole invasion sucked. I feel like that's what it comes down to. The pay-per-view was, if you look back on it, was trash.
It's just an excuse for Vince to bury everybody who wanted to bury.
Right. Well, I mean, and obviously it's been said enough, the whole contracts thing. Most of the stars, what are you going to do? Take less money to go work, or just get paid through your contract and make more money to sit home for another year or two in some cases? I mean, it's and if you were a big star, it didn't matter. You were going to get a call at some point.
Yeah.
Which clearly we saw over the next couple of years, be it NWO guys, Rey
came back.
Mysterio. Right.
A few more I'm just going to touch upon real quick, by the way.
Yeah.
Talked about Fortune. I remember the TNA Frontline, which was AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Motor City Machine Guns, Beer Money, Petey Williams, and Eric Young. Christian Team 3D would help at times. Basically, they were trying to defend against all the old WWE and WCW guys.
So it's essentially an invasion again.
Basically, all the old guys. It was basically against the main event mafia. So they're basically trying to. They were trying to defend TNA.
That's brutal.
There was Planet Jarrett, which was Jeff Jarrett. Monty Brown.
Oh God,
Marcus
fuck, I forgot about
Corvon.
Monty Brown.
All that.
Monty Brown was the shit.
They were
Fuck Monty
trying to.
Brown.
They were trying to push him hard.
What?
I've
thought he
always
was-
said this about Monty Brown, by the way. Like, and like, I'm not saying like all of Monty Brown sucked because I don't know that much about him, but I will say this: his finisher is fucking stupid.
The bounce.
It is fucking stupid. It is a shoulder tackle. It should not be a finish. I know that he's a big motherfucker. I know he launches dudes, especially the smaller guys, but it is fucking stupid that that's his finish.
Does anybody else have that style of finisher nowadays?
No, but
Where you,
Keith Lee
like-
did that to Adam Cole and launched him into the third row.
Which is cool, but did he pin him afterwards? No.
Neither of them were actually in the match, I think.
Fair.
Actually, Adam Cole wasn't. I know that. I keep that as a gift sometimes, and I say Monday coming at you like.
Fair.
Anyway, so yeah, that was Monty Brown, America's Most Wanted, Gail Kim, Alex Shelley, Team Canada.
Remember Braden
All right.
Walker?
Vaguely.
No.
Also, I just want to say that yes, we've all talked about how WWE totally misused Gail Kim.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously.
Number 2, let's see. Team Canada. I remember this vaguely.
I do remember this. This was very
Scott
good.
D'Amore was the coach.
Yeah, I remember this.
Canada.
Thank you. Petey Williams, Bobby Roode, Eric Young, Johnny Devine.
Wait, Petey Williams was Canadian?
Yeah, dude, he's like, that was his whole when he was with Scott Steiner or something about like
joke.
Yeah.
His finisher's the Canadian Destroyer. Of course, he's Canadian.
Yes.
Which is funny because at the time I
But
remember
also
it
him being Little Steiner was hilarious.
At the
by the way.
time, remember once upon a time when the Canadian Destroyer was like
the sickest thing
Finisher?
ever.
the coolest
Yeah.
thing to see.
Yeah. I remember like I think the first time I ever saw it, I was just like, That's it. That's the coolest finisher that's ever going to be.
By
Did
far.
some
ever
big guy,
happen.
did some big guy or old guy just do that recently? And I'm like missing it.
One of the rockers.
Marty Jannetty.
What?
Because one of them's retired.
Or Jenny busting out a.
No.
You mean Rock and Roll Express?
Thank you. Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Well, they're still nuts. So
Yes,
That's
they
true,
are.
too.
They are still quite nuts.
This is true.
And then the last one I have this list I'm reading is just Main Event Mafia, number 1 overall. Sting, Kurt Angle, Kevin Nash, Booker T, Scott Steiner, Christian Samoa Joe,
Listen,
Magnus, Rampage Jackson.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Exactly. I think I have caused us to need to wrap this up.
Yeah, that's why.
Once you bring Rampage Jackson into the mix, I think it's an episode.
I'm good. I mean, listen, there's a lot of good shit from the Ruthless Aggression era. I'm glad we didn't bundle this.
Ruthless.
No, we went all over the place with this.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't make this a bundle rule with the 2010s, which we'll cover next week. There was a lot of good stuff, and from I guess I was at 2010 to today. There's been a lot of good stuff in the last year. I think
we almost have to make that another episode because now we do have NXT and AEW to also kind of draw from, and New Japan.
I think so.
And
right now we got
like
a
that
lot
too. So there's a lot more to draw on. So I do think
Ring of Honor
to
yeah.
So
even if we could do a whole thing on the last 5 years, that's how much stuff there's been.
I would be shocked if we did.
Yeah, right. Who knows? Listen, we're dragging this out as many episodes as we need. I think this was good. It was nice to revisit some stuff from Right to Censor all the way up through, and we didn't even really cover everything. We still have a lot. There's a lot in the next decade, so I'm kind of looking forward to next week.
Tonight was a lot of us.
Stuff.
Tonight was a lot of us reminiscing for the most part.
That's usually what happens.
Tonight was nostalgia.
Yes,
it's usually how it goes, though.
Nostalgia is a sacred thing. Cherish it.
But no, this was good.
All I have.
Yeah, I hope you folks enjoyed I hope you enjoyed last week, the 80s and the 90s. I hope you enjoyed this 2000 to 2010 or 2009, I'll say. I don't know what I'm going to call this one. Yeah, 2000 to 2009. No, man, a lot of good shit. Not a lot, but a lot of memorable stuff, whether it be you just remember the Spirit Squad or shit like Evolution with What a Run, Made Stars. And great song, which by the way, who better than fucking Triple H to have 3 Motorhead songs that he can just choose from?
Yep.
And they're all great.
And he's got 3 awesome Motorhead songs, and My Time I still think is the best one out of all of them.
Yep. That's not even a knock on the Motorhead songs. That just speaks to how great My Time is.
Triple H has had some really good fucking music over the years. That's all I'm saying.
Still my favorite theme music. Hell yeah.
Me too, man.
Oh, man. 1, 2, is this on?
My time is coming. It's the lyric of the song. It's not a dirty joke. Don't look at me.
I know.
Phrasing.
I'm not looking at you.
Phrasing? Anyway.
Anyway, yeah, this is good shit. Let's get the plugs in and get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So listen, 6-Man Tag Podcast. You know the drill. Twitter at 6-Man Tag, Instagram at 6-Man Tag Podcast, YouTube 6-Man Tag Podcast. If you check the bio of the Twitter and the Instagram, there's a link tree in there to all of our shit. But if you can't do that, Apple Podcasts, same 6-Man Tag Podcast, Spotify 6-Man Tag Podcast. Like, subscribe, follow. Do all that shit. Join the Discord, which is in the link tree. So please click that link. Again, all our links in there, all the podcast pages, the YouTube, we got good shit coming. And also remember, yes, 6-Man Tag Podcast at gmail.com. And remember, it's the number 6, not the word 6. If you spell it out, it's not
stupid. Stupid.
Yeah, we'll workshop that one.
Stupid. It works. That's wrestling related. If you know, you know.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
on to Craig. Please move your head out of the camera.
I'm gonna step aside for a second and give your eyes a gander at this little flag behind me right here. That's the Paperweight Project. That's the logo for the Paperweight Project. I am on YouTube, Spotify, or not Spotify, sorry, YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram, and Facebook. Currently working on a track with Skylar for the first ever 6-man tag
we did get
Project collab.
We did get a teaser. I very much enjoyed it.
Okay, glad to hear it. I usually don't like announcing things to be ready before they're done, but considering that one, we're already a week ahead on our episodes, and two, it's pretty much almost done. I just had to throw vocals on it and finish mixing it.
Yep.
I will say by, I guess, the next episode, we should hopefully have a finished song for you. I'm going to try and get a video done for it as well. That might not be done by as early as next week, but we might have a song for you to throw at the end of the podcast. We'll see. I'm going to try.
Listen, I'm excited. Listen, Inside Baseball, we're recording this on October 6th, and it's going to drop on October 14th. So,
it's looking like it. I don't want to promise. I'm not going to guarantee. But
not the song, but this episode is. Oh yeah, you're listening. You're listening to this on October 14th.
Oh yeah, so which means by the time
we recorded it,
the next
8
one
days prior,
by the 21st. Then that's why I'm saying I think it should be all be done by then. So
I love it.
Hopefully we'll have it all done for you. I'm looking forward to it. I know Skylar's pretty excited. We were both. I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out. Our buddy John
featuring
is on
Hoots.
It as well.
Thank you.
Yep. Our buddy John Hooten is on it as well. AKA Hoots. He's a great bassist. He's playing bass on the track. As I said, I'm gonna, the only little teaser that you're gonna get right now is that it is a wrestler's theme song. It is something that we enjoyed playing. It's kind of in our realm, so we hope you guys enjoy it. But look forward to that probably next week. And if you like it, and if you want to know what else I got going on, like I said, check out the YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook, all of it at the Paperweight Project. Again, logo looks like this. Just one more time for you.
I can't wait, man.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Product. Biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy. Stop spoiling it. Anyway, but that's all I got for you right now. Skylar, what do you got coming up on the Twitch stream coming up this week?
What are you playing? You're playing. It's October. You're still playing horror shit?
I started Man of Medan last night.
What's that?
I don't even know what that is.
No. I know what that is.
Dark Picture Anthology.
Yep.
You remember that game Until Dawn?
Oh, yeah.
Basically, they took that and are making a few shorter games. Which not a bad idea, they have a few out. Like I think the 4th one's on his way out.
One of them is like on a haunted ship. I know that. Like it's supposed to be pretty creepy games from what I've seen.
Yeah, and they're not too long, so it's like you can finish them in like around 5-6 hours.
Makes sense.
So that's why it's like Halloween. October. Figure I'll go through a few of those. The Man of Medan, and I want to say it's not House of Ash.
House of Ass.
House of Ass. Sesame Daddy Ass.
I love mayonnaise.
Anyway, those first two are on PlayStation Premium, so I was like, why the hell not? Yes, I will play Last of Us Part 1, Take 3. And part of me wants to man up and go through either Outlast or Alien Isolation.
Good luck sleeping.
Yeah,
you played Outlast, right?
Yeah, I haven't played it, but I've seen enough where I was just like, "This isn't a game for me."
That's a long time ago. Yeah.
Also, towards the end of the month, the Resident Evil 8 Resident Evil Village expansion will drop, and I will absolutely have that day one because Village was a fantastic game.
All right,
a lot of stuff coming up on the Twitch channel.
Skylar,
Skylar AFC, Strange AFC, almost fucked it up.
I just finished a game called The Council, where it's one of those games where, like, every decision you make kind of alters the story a little bit and changes like little things and stuff like that.
So like Heavy Rain, kind of.
It's kind of like Heavy Rain, yeah. Okay. Definitely
Quantum Dream.
It's not a Quantum Dream game. It's not a Quantum Dream game. Trust me, if it was a Quantum Dream game, I would know.
You would know.
Quantum Dream guy. I have like
every
single Quantum Dream
game.
They're
making a Star Wars game.
Get the fuck out of here. No, they're not.
Last I heard, that's what they were working on. It may not be Quantum Dream, but it might be like a lot of the people.
Don't tease me. If I want that exact company.
Well, now that I have,
EA doesn't hold Yeah, EA doesn't hold the
Nor-
exclusive
Nor
license
fucking
anymore.
should they. Be gonna drop the ball. Jesus.
Well, now that I'm rocking a Hafner on that one.
Thank God. Battlefront 2 actually got good eventually, but too little too late. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Plus
So, but I was just gonna say, you know, I know it might even be on like the free game, the catalog of games for the premium members. Definitely worth a checking out. I think it's something you might enjoy. So if you like those kind of games, so
I absolutely
Good
will.
to know.
and it's like it's kind of like Heavy Rain, but it's like very like you have to do like a lot of investigating. It's like you're almost like a detective almost, and you're a lot of detective work involved in the game and finding stuff and finding alternate paths and different encounters you can go on and stuff like that. So if you're into like just exploring shit and just finding stuff all over, it's a fun game.
I'm going to ask you to remind me about this one once we get off the air.
Sounds good.
Also, I will also be playing I will also be playing Overwatch 2 once they're done being DDoS to death.
Which, by the way, if you are going to watch Skylar stream, and if he does stream himself playing Overwatch 2, you might catch me on there with him because I guarantee I'm going to be playing some Overwatch 2 soon.
Yeah. They just need to stop getting DDoS to death. So eventually I'll get to play it.
I haven't even downloaded it yet because of I knew I wasn't going to play it anyway. But,
yeah, well, you wouldn't
Jake
have been able to play it anyway.
Exactly. Jake and I, because me and him used to play it when I lived with him. We were planning on playing it this weekend. So if you're free this weekend, we're going to be playing this weekend.
Probably Saturday.
All right, word. I mean, I'm not sure what time, but I'll let you know when we're on.
That's right. We're making our private plans on the
Making
air.
plans that would have already happened at this point by the time you're hearing it.
Anyway,
good shit.
But it's kind of relevant though, because if you stream it, then fuck, man, then maybe if anybody's listening and they want to fucking watch you stream, then boom, now you get to talk. Now you get to listen to both of us and
Twitch.tv/strange AFC.
Or join when I'm playing video games. So
or join the game.
Yeah, join with us.
Yeah, why not?
All right. But yeah, I think that about covers all the bases, boys.
This is good shit, man. This is a good one. This has been fun talking about these factions. This is another topic we kind of pulled out of our ass before we hit record the last time, and we're gonna get 3 episodes out of it. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
But good shit as always. Again, thank you for the support. If you've listened all the way through this far, I think we're like 90 minutes or so in. So it's definitely not our record episode, but every time we say, we'll keep it short. That never happens. We just
next week's gonna be a fucking long one. It's gonna be like 3 hours.
It might be. It very well might be.
It very well might be.
You wouldn't be wrong. But seriously, Besson, thank you. This has been the 6-Man Tag Podcast. For Skylar, for CJ, I'm Mike. Hey,
scissor me daddy ass.